Hi, my name is Mike Zuckerman, Chief Marketing Officer. In today's webinar, we'll review the topic of Virtual Migration Manager, a core component of our technology that makes it easy for you to migrate legacy data into new applications or to extract data for special purposes such as BI or data warehousing. QueCloud is a data integration and data management company. We provide all the capabilities you would expect to integrate two or more sources, drive business intelligence, fill the data warehouse, and include all the right doses of data quality and data governance. We have many customers since 2004. Please refer to our website to learn more about this and check out the customer case studies. The problem we solve amongst data migration is integrating all of these different disparate sources across your enterprise. Whether you're a small, a medium-sized business, or a large global enterprise, you're going to have some mix of these application types. On the lower right, you see legacy relational applications. On the upper left, you see new cloud applications, predominant in a lot of emerging customer sites such as NetSuite and Salesforce. And then you see new participants in the NoSQL world, such as Cassandra and Hadoop and MongoDB and others. Certainly MarkLogic has been in the XML space a long time. It's a varied landscape, yet customers need to tie this together and move data between these systems. One particular case of harmonization is that case which is one time. We call it data migration. And data migration has been served for years and years by 20-year-old technology called ETL. But ETL is very manual, very intensive on human labor and professional services. And you can see even most recently in June, one of the leading analysts feels that integration by ETL creates data quality problems and delays information delivery. It's just the nature of the beast. It's 20-year-old data warehousing technology, and it's still being used in your brand new applications. If you look at this curve and you really studied it and you gained a consensus of the analyst's viewpoint, what you find is that 90% of the base out there or more is still using first-generation technology. Our Virtual Migration Manager is part of our QueCloud or our Virtual Data Manager, and is based upon third-generation persistent metadata server technology. It's just very different. Years ago, I remember working in software development, hearing about application servers, and pretty much ignoring it. Then 2 years later, finding myself one morning ordering 3 of them and recognizing that application servers had filled a gap in the internet that operating systems couldn't fill to support the deployment of web apps. It was just that simple. Persistent metadata servers fill perhaps a broader gap, and we'll find places in supporting business intelligence, the data warehouse, and data integration on a broad scale. Certainly to build out the data services layer in support of a service-oriented architecture. There's lots of places where a persistent metadata server will provide benefits, and one for sure is data migration. Advanced data virtualization is no more nor less the next wave. We've seen many things virtualize, and for all the same reasons: return on investment, scale, flexibility, and the strategic issue of data mobility. Those are the value propositions that advanced data virtualization supports, and that's what makes it compelling for customers today. The delivery model for the technology in support of your data migration can be cloud-based. You can migrate between 2 enterprise apps, a cloud and an enterprise app, and you can do that from our QueCloud, or you can install our Virtual Data Manager on-premise. It's the same pricing model, the same monthly model in 1 or 2 or 3-year contracts, yet our technology will deploy in both places. A truly unified delivery platform. None of the major vendors can do this across their entire integration product line today, not one. QueCloud delivers this today, a unified platform. And for data architects and system architects in the largest enterprises in the world, this is a very big issue. It's future-proofing the implementations you do and making sure that your platform can handle the issues that come up as you move down the road. Application software blades make your migration fairly easy. We obfuscate away the complex proprietary nature of the API, and we enable you to work with the business objects. I need to pull these 47 business objects out of this legacy Vantive system and populate them into this database table or this other system just this way. And it's really that simple. You don't need to know about the underlying APIs or the complex structures. We take care of that for you. You can work with the business objects and not have to do any programming, not have to know any SQL to get the job done. It's a big change and a positive one for you. Legacy migration tools, typically ETL, are just very cumbersome and manual. You have to move every byte, you have to do all the error handling, and they're really wrapped around building out the relational paradigm. If you need to work with objects and XML and NoSQL, it becomes difficult to impossible. Constantly, I redefined the house of pain, and this really is the house of pain. Custom-coded ETL, the people that do this are tremendously bright. They become our best fans, but what they have to figure out to do this work is often complex. Now, in all fairness, data migration is not as complex as data synchronization or harmonization. If you're using ETL for that, it's even worse. So this is like taking repeat visits to the doctor and getting your shots every week. It is not enjoyable for any of us. Legacy data migration tools are very complex. They are not user-friendly. They've got all sorts of barely reusable templates and wire diagrams, and you have to be a programmer to use them. You may see a GUI interface, but the fact is that these are programmer tools, and when you get down to the transform layer, to take some information and convert it or concatenate it or provide some regular expression that changes its form, you're back in the programming business the way these systems work. Virtual Migration Manager basically changes everything because of the power of data virtualization. Our high-level dashboard converts objects, relational databases, NoSQL, XML, file formats like EDI, it doesn't matter, into one object representation on the dashboard. It's about configuring and checking boxes, no programming. You can see all the business objects you need, and you select the ones that you want to move out of the legacy systems, and away you go. Part of the power of Virtual Migration Manager is that you can direct this to existing applications or to a new database table, or we can even auto-create the database if you give us a storage area. If you're a user and you just know that you want to back this data up, but you're not sure how you're going to use it, we'll create a database for it. It'll be self-documenting. The metadata will be there for you to observe later, and you'll be able to import it or do other things with it, or bring it into BI or data warehouse, wherever you need to go with that data, but it'll happen for you automatically. We also include things like data quality, just so we can see before we export this what state we're in, and perhaps to make some corrections before the final export. If you look at various scenarios customers have, I like to say that these migrations keep happening. In most public companies, I think large enterprise accounts, these old systems never die. They just fade away because of compliance reasons and audit. Your CFO and your CIO will probably wisely want to keep these systems alive for several years, albeit at minimal licensing levels. And so we find that these systems stay connected a long time, and we support that interoperation. And should you have an audit or a need to resurrect and prove some component of your data set, our system will be there to help you get that done. So this is just a normal part of our business process and part of what you need to do to support migration in a stateful way. If you're a small business, we'll do it quickly. We'll let you get out from under the old system, and you'll be ready to go with your new application systems. Virtual Migration Manager is fairly simple. You log into our system and you can see all the sources that are connected. You really want to identify what you want to pull out, which data, and it's all easily visible. You can start to select fields based upon our color auto map and just specify what you need to do. If you're not sure, you may specify everything and pull the data out in a structured way from a given application. It's very, very easy for us to handle. You can look down into the data catalog and see what's actually there in any application in terms of the actual data. And so you have a lot of flexibility to navigate and understand the metadata and the actual structure of the data before you do the work. You can step through the data at any level, but the data is not in our system. We're doing it virtually through our system before you decide to start the migration. Virtual Migration Manager makes it very easy. You bring up Virtual Migration Manager and you select the fields that you need and the object that will be the target, and away you go. And the system will go take those fields, migrate them automatically, produce a report, and let you know how the migration went. It's really that simple. Any complex system, multiple versions of SAP or Siebel or Oracle e-business systems, whatever it is, we can identify and extract the data in a stateful and compliant way, and then enable you to move it into any other system. So, the strategic value of creating data mobility for some organizations is very, very high. On a tactical level, we can get it done, but we can do this for any application you have in your organization. Architecturally, there's a few things you'll want to be aware of. One, that we are building out this virtual migration with our persistent metadata server. It's a very different way of doing this. We're using an integral data quality engine. Data quality is part of the system, whether you're using our QueCloud or our virtual data manager. And we support your security model. So if you're using LDAP for people to access the system because you have compliance and you need to restrict access to certain fields, we support that 100%. If you're a small or medium business, you don't have to use these functions in the system. It's very lightweight and high level, and we can get the job going for you quickly. Finally, of course, QPlix or our VARs can do this work for you on a turnkey basis and make it very easy for you, provide it delivered and done and documented. Our vision for the future is very Tivoli-like, from the early days when Tivoli presented a view such that you could see the state of every server in your enterprise. It was a new concept. And that vision has not yet been realized for data integration. Our view for our NGen product, to be delivered in 2012, is a view to every integration in your enterprise, the state, both past and present, of that integration, the state of quality, the state of performance, the state of error conditions, your ability in a white box way to provide audit and compliance so that your CFO could sit down and look at the business rules in the 7 integrations that touch his SAP instance in Europe and understand exactly what's happening and why it's happening. That's something you can't possibly do with ETL today. We have an environment where you can drive migration, and there's no programming nor SQL involved, so it's a big positive change for everybody. Your ability to see the metadata and look at some of the components of the system is supported by us in part for free with a free download called our Virtual Data Viewer. So if you go to our website, you can find the Virtual Data Viewer download and start looking through the metadata immediately. Just email sales@qplix.com and we'll get it installed for you. It's very easy. Thank you for spending time with us on our Virtual Migration Manager. We'll look forward to hearing from you. Let us know how we can support you, and please email us with questions. You can see our email addresses right here on the screen. Thank you again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.